Nature Files is brought to you by WWF with support from UNDP.
10 kilometers forest walk.
The sprawling tower forest in Islands is a marvel to behold. It covers over 1,200 hectares. Adjacent to tower forest are other privately owned forests in the Munuza village. Chisa Robinson owns the forest surrounded by communities who often encroach on the forest. He named the forest after his name, Chisa.
Tungas. The Statungas, you know, Statungas are nearer to waterbucks. But Statunga is its own class. And I think the only species remaining is they are on in the islands here.
He has various tree species which take different time to mature.
With this reforestation, I put some of the mahogany. That can take 50 years. But we have here the easiest is in Cobra. No, in Cobra is also some 60, 50 years. We have the species which can go to 30 years. And we have the cargo which can go to 15, 20 years.
In terms of returns, how do you see forest business?
Forest business is a little bit tricky. If we forget of the threats, the money is there, the trees grow by themselves, and then you earn something.
He bought the forest when it was completely depleted, but was aware that carbon trading is another lucrative venture for him to try.
I said, I think it's better I manage it properly, so that I get onto the certification level, whereby I can get linkage to the carbon trade.
But what are some of the challenges he faces with the communities around?
Forest, one just walks in with his panga, and he chops poles and he go home to build. And he will never cut a crooked pole. He will also go in for a straight pole, and that's the tree, the same tree you are targeting to cut in the 20 coming years. It's what he cuts down here today. And this being the only forest left around, near the village around, the community around, and that's my theory that everybody is switching down to this forest. We have tried with the help of WWF that we try to sensitize people. Things are changing. The way the world is moving today, things are changing. There's here what used to be for us all, it's changing. We don't stop people coming in here for mushroom, for firewood, for fruits.
Preserving forests has many advantages. There are always wild edible fruits throughout the year because the forest is never affected by dry spells.
But you see this yellow one is here. They are eaten by people and they are eaten by monkeys. That was eaten by monkeys.
The organic and naturally grown mushrooms are another source of food up for grabs.
Mushroom is food. And you will not get it in the other grassland, or you will not get it elsewhere, but in forest. The moment we don't conserve these forests, all this will be lost, and our grandchildren will not see this one.
10 years ago, some of the forests were depleted, but the seeds that were planted have now sprouted. Many people are accustomed to cutting down trees for firewood and timber. According to Stephen Chise, a member of the local conservation association, a population explosion and farming also increase pressure on natural resources like forests and swamps at risk of depletion. According to Chisa, a proposal was developed under the Small Forest Holders Project to certify the forest, which came with benefits.
Locally, and they were being exploited by the timber dealers from Mundeba, Nachoga, and so on, where I found out that a forest owner would sell a tree, a whole tree, at 5,000, yet a plank, a piece of that timber, when you go to Ndeba or elsewhere, costs over 10,000.
Sensitizing people is a challenge due to the long period forests take to regenerate. Some people believe a forest is an idle land, and due to fear that government would tax idle land, most people resort to cutting down the trees.
Some of the trees in these privately owned natural forests take 50 years to mature before they can be harvested. But what perplexes some of the communities who are ready to wait for that time is that some politicians end up confusing the public that where there are forests, it's vacant and idle land that should be utilized. And knowing how global warming is biting so hard around the whole world, it's easier to prepare and prevent than to repair and repent. Sudilbi Aruhanga, NTV, Kalangala District.
Nature Files was brought to you by WWF with support from UNDP.